Hey there, listener. Welcome to Miracles in Manhattan, episode 1. Thank you for tuning in. This is Marco jumping in at the beginning of the episode to just give you a piece of information about something you'll hear in the next 20 minutes or so that you spend with us. At one point, one of us mentions having done this podcast before. That's because while Steph and I have been at this for about a year and a half, 9 months in or so, we were graciously provided with an external hard drive malfunction meltdown event by the Seagate company. We've done it all over, and we're happy with what we've got, enough to share it with you, the most important people in this whole formula. The only other thing is that you'll hear a couple of Twitter handles and websites mentioned. Those are all still active and ready to rock and roll, but you can also visit us at miraclesinmanhattan.com for archives and any needs relating to this podcast, getting in touch with us, so forth. So aside from iTunes, Google Play, and other apps, that's a great place to start. All right, we're excited to share this kind of serious, kind of funny, and certainly acceptable episode with you today. And we'll see you next week. Thanks again so much.
Yeah, explain yourself. What does that mean?
That's just exactly what I said. I have a live band, and I'm going to be singing a song, a rock song.
Okay, and you're the singer? You're going to lead?
I'm the singer, yeah. Well, there's 12 of us. We each doing one song.
Oh, okay. So you're not all up there at once together?
No. Mm-mm.
Gotcha. All right.
You're welcome to come.
I will be in Portland in this next calendar year for writery stuff. EWP, the most vile of all conventions. It is.
Okay.
It is.
But not on July 26th.
No, but did you switch these?
I did. I switched.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet. I'm not going to say I won't come. I'm not going to say that. So. Cool. Well, I mean, we're rolling. We can keep
Okay.
listening to-
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 1 of Miracles in Manhattan with
Miracles
the Reverend
in Manhattan.
Stephanie Wild and Marco Maisto. I'm the Reverend Stephanie Wild, spiritualist minister, author, and psychic medium.
I'm the Reverend Stephanie Wild, author, and poet and author of the introduction to Reverend Stephanie Wild's second book.
Well, it's the foreword. It's not the
foreword.
introduction.
I wonder what the difference is.
Well, I wrote the introduction. It comes after the foreword.
That's not really what I meant, but acceptable. But that's going to be The Art of Romance coming out, the follow-up book to The Art of Forgiveness, both best-selling books on Amazon that everybody want to check out because you're going to be kind of absorbing a lot of the content just vicariously by listening to this pod.
Go to reverendwild.com for everything and follow us on Twitter at Wild Manhattan.
At Wild Manhattan. And yeah.
All right, so this is lesson 1.
This is lesson 1, but just real quick, because some people don't listen to episode 0.
Okay.
So just in like one sentence, you're a writer and a copywriter. In one sentence without the vowel E.
Can I have commas?
You can have commas, but now you've lost A as well. What is the aim of this podcast or the methodology?
So I'm going to lead listeners through A Course in Miracles.
Right.
That's pretty damn short description.
That is good. Damn.
And so A Course in Miracles is a 365 exercises, the point of which is to dissolve illusions about life and to find your own internal spiritual teacher so you can trust your instincts and take control of your happiness and see reality for what it is. And we're going to dismantle our egos and we're going to find freedom from anger and resentment and we're going to find joy. And each lesson is very, very practical exercises. So it's not all this mumbo-jumbo, wishy-washy, new agey theoretical stuff.
No, not at all. There's not a lot of audio available in the world
of the sound of two egos being disassembled simultaneously. So this is also good for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Awesome.
Okay. So
So each episode will be a chapter.
Will be a lesson.
A lesson, as
Yeah.
it were. So
Yeah.
we'll be doing this for all eternity. So I hope you're into it. Oh my God, it's a lot of fun.
All right. So lesson 1.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place means anything. Is your mind blown already? So what that means is that nothing we see, none of these objects here around us, the fan, the cup, the phone, the book, the window, the computer screen, nothing has any intrinsic value on its own. That's what that means. All right? That's the first lesson. Mm-hmm. So in order to practice that, so to speak, in order to really experience that truth, we're going to follow the instructions in the lesson. So these are the instructions. Look slowly around you and apply this idea very specifically to whatever you see. So just let your eyes rest on whatever you see around you. Don't choose anything really specifically and don't leave anything out specifically. Just look around and say about whatever your eyes rest on, this table does not mean anything. This chair does not mean anything. This hand does not mean anything. This foot does not mean anything. This pen does not mean anything. Just do that for a couple minutes. Then we look further away from our immediate area and we apply the idea to a wider range and we practice believing it. That door does not mean anything. The lamp does not mean anything. That car out the window does not mean anything. That tree over there does not mean anything. And just do that for a few minutes. And maybe a couple of times a day. So you can do that right now with us.
Yeah, you can hit pause and come back.
And maybe later today, do it again. And don't force it because, there's a lot of exercises and it's not supposed to be painful or weird, although it can be.
It might be a little bit weird.
Maybe a little weird.
Yeah. If it's not a little weird, you're not doing it too well.
Yeah, okay. But it's not supposed to be like painful and like forced. Yeah.
You did say something particularly interesting. You said you advised the listener to practice believing. And that's really interesting because I think people tend to come to an idea about how they see the world or their faith as something that belief is a given, right? Because, we're all sort of brought up with a set of beliefs or with the absence of one, which amounts to a set of beliefs too.
Right.
So practicing to believe in something is not something that most people set out to do every day. And I think that is immediately a piece of spiritual work that it occurs to me is kind of really interesting.
Yeah, I think you're right. I would call those beliefs tribal beliefs, So we're born into a certain religion and we go in and we're taught Jesus is this or this incense means that or you're not supposed to point the soles of your feet at the Buddha for whatever reason. Our mother taught us that we're supposed to flirt to get our driver's license. Not speaking from personal experience there at all.
During the test?
Yeah, she told me, just flirt with him, like wear a short skirt, something like that. I was like, what the fuck? What? You don't think I can actually drive? You think I have to wear a short skirt in order to pass the test?
Yeah, right. That's how you get a business loan, not a driver's license.
So, that all those kinds of lessons is what I was taught by my mother. She sent me to elocution, makeup lessons, modeling, deportment.
Elocution, really?
Yes,
in how to execute the speaking of words?
Right. And then I ended up teaching it, actually, in Australia to school kids.
Huh.
Yeah, and she thought that, this would be a good idea in case I was not intelligent, in case I was dumb. And in that case, at least I would look good and sound good and be able to catch a rich husband.
Capture a husband.
So that was the kind of belief that I was brought up with. How the relationship between the genders was and is.
How early in your life were you introduced to the idea of pursuing a husband?
Well, about 12.
Really? Okay.
Well, yeah, when I started to go to, elocution and all that.
Right. Okay, so it was really, this is why we're doing this?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I was put in Freudian psychoanalysis in the 7th grade with no rationale.
What?
With no explanation.
How did I not know this?
Well,
Maybe.
I needed to save some things for round 2. Yeah. Then the next best thing to being a completely troubled 12, 13-year-old is not knowing what you did to deserve to have to go to therapy.
That's not even therapy. That's Freudian analysis. Isn't that different? That's different from like cognitive behavioral therapy, right? Or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, this was like the first example I always go to when I think of this is, the first maybe 10 sessions with this guy, who's a great guy.
Sure.
We would just play chess.
Wow.
And he would tell me about different Freudian constructs, or rather different neuroses that Freud had discovered.
Oh, my God.
He would tell me the story of the Oedipus complex.
Oh, well, yes.
And just sort of just leave it at that.
Oh, my God.
And so for a week, I got to just let that swim around, and then here's the story of the Wolfman. And like,
what?
I shit you not. It was, it added to it just kind of gave me another set of problems to throw on top of the bullying and the antisocial nightmare.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a long way from a practical solution to bullying. Just playing chess with an old man telling you about the Oedipus complex.
It's true. Although I will say neither my parents nor until maybe one session did. None of these adult parties knew that I was being bullied at all.
Oh, okay.
I was probably...
You just seemed troubled.
I think I was full on depressed,
Okay, but to them it was like maybe it seemed like a spiritual wound, a spiritual angst or something.
Yeah, something like that, It's hard to tell. I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah. We can go into other things that happened to my siblings and I as we were growing up.
Later. For other episodes. Whoa.
You'll have to listen for those.
Okay, so did those... So out of that then, did you come away with any specific beliefs about how life should work? Like mine about catching a husband, at that age. And how gender relations should be, because that's how it was between my father and mother,
Yeah.
And she had to keep herself beautiful and he provided.
I don't know that it was such a peculiar thing that I don't think I let it integrate into my way of seeing. But I think in the background it was certainly doing something.
I'm thinking that maybe you became a poet because of that. I mean, this is kind of, and all your stuff is kind of out there.
My stuff is out there as a way to get away from being analyzed, probably. Although for off mic later, I had like the third realization of what that book I wrote, which is called Traces of a Fifth Column, my first book. You can buy it anywhere that fine books are sold. It'll make you feel strange charitably.
It's great stuff.
Anyhow, but let's not stray too far.
Okay, so the beliefs, the beliefs that we form as we grow up. They're instilled in us from the tribe. So that could be mother, father, Boy Scouts, elementary school, high school, all of those groups, I forget how this was even relevant, but
well, we were talking about how people take faith and belief in the meaning of
belief
things
in the
as a
meaning
given.
of things, and think that they are that is inherent or intrinsic to
what things are, rather than practicing.
Believing or practicing seeing
exactly
anything for what it is, which is neutral. So, this cup is neutral, this computer screen is neutral, and that car over there outside the window is neutral, this table is neutral, and my arm and your arm is neutral, your face is neutral, your body is neutral. So, we're practicing taking negative or positive power away from things. It's a very basic step to taking control of our happiness back.
Oh, that's really nice. Seeing the world as an apparatus of capture for happiness that you have to sort of tinker with until you can get free of it. So the apartment that we're in right now on the Upper West Side kind of came to me through a peculiar fashion, sort of within my family, and then it was precarious as who was going to live here, and finally it's my apartment and all that stuff. But because of all this precariousness, i.e. the lease was not in my name for a while, etc., it occurred to me the other day that I've never really in my life had these many like plants. There's a lot of plants in the room, and I kind of settled on. I was like, that feels like me trying to set up a fortress of rootedness, of being rooted, like so that almost like as if these things were stuck to the ground, things that would prevent me from in any way being taken out of this environment, which is something, I don't know what your experience is, but I know that it's the experience of a lot of people in this city, that you have, where you live or being able to live somewhere is a fucking challenge, and one that never really seems to be totally simple.
No, that's right. It never often, for a lot of people, doesn't really go away. We tend to move. The rent goes up. We move. Yeah, and actually to find a place where you can stay is a challenge. Yeah, which is makes life here interesting because maybe that means that we don't so much attach happiness to things. I don't know. Or to place. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't even, I kind of just threw that in because it's a little on topic, but I think that ultimately what I was getting at sounds a lot more like a, kind of like a Freudian kind of thing. But there's space for all, I think, in this framework that we're starting to delve into. And so maybe what I've learned, because because in another life we have done this podcast already, what I learned the first time around is that it's a big tent, and you don't have to agree with everything that you hear in these sort of suggestions or these lessons.
No, we're just musing and seeing how it applies to us.
Yeah.
And so you'll explore yourself. The course says, this is a way of finding your own internal teacher. So it'll apply to different things in different ways. But that's the first lesson. Nothing I see in this room means anything.
Right. And for the listener who haven't hit pause yet to try that, now would be a second chance to do that because you didn't the first time, and you're not going to this time either. But that's a lot. That's a whole lot to take. So I don't know what I mean by that.
No, but it is. It's a big. We kind of. So anyway, let's leave it there then, and try that today. Nothing I see in this room means anything.
Yeah, see what it means to you, and
or doesn't.
Or see what it does or it doesn't mean to you. Both are equally valuable.
All right, welcome back next time.
Yeah.
ReverendWild.com. You can find us there at Wild Manhattan.
On Twitter, on Facebook, Google it. You'll find us. MarcoMaisto.com. I'll put a link to this on there.
Great.
Etc. Okay, so thank you for tuning in to the first episode, and it only gets better. That's a promise.
Okay.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
This episode of Miracles in Manhattan is a co-production of Wild Stories and Rogue Signal Studios. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe on iTunes and leave us a 5-star review and maybe a comment. It takes just a second and it helps us reach a broader audience.
And if you have any questions for us, email us at miraclesinmanhattan@gmail.com. We may be able to answer your question on a future episode. If you want to join our Facebook community where everyone is walking through a Course in Miracles together, you can find us at A Course in Miracles with the Wild Reverend. And you can also find us on Twitter at Wild Manhattan.